Hey, buddy.
How are you?
Great, how are you?
Good. Getting ready for town meeting tomorrow.
You excited?
It's going to be a battle.
Why?
Well, I'm printing out a bunch of stuff right now for Article 48.
All right, tell us about it real quick.
It's
going on?
to raise the building cap. Richmond Company proposed an Article 48, to raise the building cap from the current 20,000 square feet to 38,000 square feet with an additional building on the other side for 45,000 square feet. Our planning board supported it, passed it unanimously, and then I think based on public outcry they said, oh wait, no, let's take it back, let's hold it off, and they're trying to table it now. They're saying let's take no action on it.
Is that a good thing?
Not a good thing. We want to vote no on Article 48. The reason the developer and the planning board is saying that we need to wait more time is to get more information on what they're actually going to be putting in there. What kind of, what specific store and what kind of stuff like that. My argument is that any sort of big box retail formula stores is not good for Nantucket. It's not good for local businesses, and it is destructive to the long-term vitality of the local community.
Well, what would you like to see go there then?
I'd like to see a community co-op, like a food co-op. I think that would be great.
But
unfortunately, those businesses aren't going to afford to go in there.
That's right.
So I think the worst case scenario, the gun to our head is that they're going to build a bunch of condos there, that they'll put up, hundreds of little houses or condos. And I say if that's the worst case scenario, that would be wonderful. We could use the affordable housing. We could use those additional small, cheap houses. And so if that's where they get stuck into doing, then that's great for me. Or they can put a business in there that's 20,000 square feet that can compete, or that local businesses can, compete with somewhat at least. Marine Home Center is 30,000 square feet of retail space, and that's in 2 buildings. I don't think we need anything bigger than that. And it's not, and the numbers just don't support formula businesses. It's not good for the local community. The revenue doesn't go back into the community, it goes back off island. And I think that trend that we've been headed towards, which is just economic development at any cost, has landed us in the situation we're in now, which is a loss of the local community.
Right. Speaking of
Sorry about first
making things better, what is the story with this road? Why doesn't it get fixed? Why do people put up with this?
It does. It gets fixed, but not often enough. There are people like my father who like the fact that it's bumpy because he doesn't like people driving down the road and it discourages people from coming down here. But for the general population, yes. They recently just widened it, and they took a big piece of our property to widen the road, and I think their ultimate goal is to pave it. So I think that's the answer.
It off my chest.
But it's tough because of the
It's tough
sucks.
to draw. It really.
Yeah.
There's bad roads here.
Yeah.
All over the place. But
Yeah.
I don't think there's one worse than that. That's the worst.
Well, this one's so heavily trafficked.
Yeah.
That's
why I don't understand it. There's so many people who live down there, and yet this road is. All
Well,
right. Well, how's your day other than that? Before we get going, I just want to know a little bit more about you.
About me?
You're Seaweed's grandson.
I am
Right?
Seaweed's grandson.
Which makes you famous. That's Seaweed. Oh.
I'm trying not to run too much on the Seaweed's grandson platform.
I know.
It's hard to ignore. Yeah, no, I am. I grew up in the chicken box. They got pictures of me when I was 6 months old up on the bar in a Budweiser box.
Cool. How old are you?
30.
Okay. And why are you running? Why do this now?
Well, over the last couple of years, I've dedicated myself to service work, to just doing things for the community. Before,
like what?
I started in Ecuador. I quit my job. I was an executive for a distribution company out of New York, launching new food products, and I became disillusioned with the whole making money thing. Not completely, but just doing things just for profit. I wanted to create new, interesting items, revolutionary stuff that was healthy, natural, and different. And I didn't care if the profit margin was only 20% instead of 35%. So I got out of that and moved to...
What were the things that you were trying to make?
We had a salsa. I don't want to talk too badly about the company because they're still a good company. I'm still close with them. They're good people. but it just wasn't for me.
Okay. So it was a salsa company.
Salsa, and then we were launching new products. There was a aloe drink, Sabula, and then we were trying to launch some new drinks. I was putting together an aloe apple juice, but I was a marketing guy.
All right.
So I was designing all these new products and trying to launch them, and we were doing it. We were doing really, really well. And I was also doing the sourcing. It was a small startup. I mean, it was a pretty small startup.
Yeah.
And so I was the COO and CMO. So I was doing all the operating stuff. I was sourcing, and I got tired of having to source from China to save a nickel on a product. It just wasn't where my head was at. I wanted to source locally. I wanted to do local things. I wanted to build good products that people actually cared about, instead of just products that were marketed as healthy and all natural, while at the same time trying to make it as cheap and unnatural as possible, but still being able to call it natural. And that's where the marketing came in, was
Right.
being able to ride that line.
Yeah.
So I quit, took a buyout, and I moved to South America, where I wasn't sure what I was doing at the time, but I knew there was something. And I ended up on a sustainable farm in Ecuador, and got involved with a women's rights activist, Kaye. And I started working with her, and we helped start a women's rights organization promoting women's rights
What
in South
country
America.
in South America?
Ecuador. And she wanted to go around and do research and promote women's rights awareness, because down there it's really the Middle Ages. There's nothing for women in terms of support. And
Is Ecuador the same country where they got that president who's like really down to earth and drives around in a VW bus and people love? You know about that guy?
No.
Maybe it's Bolivia. I think he's from Bolivia.
Sounds like Bolivia.
Yeah, it is him.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, okay, so you did that.
So I was doing that, and then I did some environmental activism, protesting, organizing protests.
But then, how does all of that, working in that world
Mm-hmm.
and that lifestyle, bring you to running for selectman on Nantucket?
It was serving the community, serving other people, and that's what I think a leader should be. Not just a politician, but a public servant. Someone who...
But why stay here? Why not
Why
just
Nantucket?
continue to do it in the South America?
Oh,
What keeps you here to do this? That's kind of what I'm...
yeah, no. Well, honestly, what brought me back was my mom passed away
Okay.
last Christmas.
Okay.
And that's what brought me back to the States.
Okay.
I had the intention of going right back to South America. And then I was off island, and then my dad called me and said that my grandfather had fired his fifth nurse. And so the
Was
two...
that Linda?
Yeah. And so I said, sure, I'll come down and I'll do it.
Okay.
I don't want to see him go into a home, and
Yep.
this is his last year, so
Yep.
I really wanted to be there.
Yep.
And he was a big figure for me growing up in my
Sure.
life, mythical even for me.
Yep.
And so that's what got me to the island. And then when I got here, I started getting involved with different organizations. I started Act Better.
Act Better.
Act Better.
Nice. What is it?
It's community-driven, community-supported organization. We don't do any fundraising. We don't pay any salaries. And the idea is to create activities for locals, or not just locals, anyone on the island, for people to engage each other, and also have more access to the things that we all love about Nantucket. So we do kayaking, mountain biking. We're going to start doing yoga. I'd like to do like a free weekly yoga class for the community, that people can come and promote healthy living, promote being outdoors. But mostly it's the community engaging each other and talking and being with each other. And because I think one of the things that bothers me, or that I've seen, because I've been away for a while, and so I have this contrast between when I was a kid growing up here and now. And I feel like there's been a loss of that cohesiveness with the community, that we don't engage each other as much, that there's too many problems going on, too much fear of
Well, I think
everything, anxiety.
part of that is technology too.
Yeah.
People aren't face to face like they used to be.
Yeah.
In the old times, people do want to be social, but they get satisfaction from texting. Believe it or not, there is a certain amount of connection that happens even through texting.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. The face to face is gone. And that's why you're here. That's why
I'm
we do
here.
this, because this is face to face, and
I
it
love
lets
it.
people see you
Yeah.
a little bit more as a person rather than just as a candidate okay, this is all I am. I speak on this issue.
Yeah.
This is why you should vote for me. But we do need to get on with these questions.
Yeah.
I asked you guys to pose 2 questions for the other candidates and yourself to answer.
Yep.
Okay. And Bob's first question is, what's the biggest priority for the town to address?
What is the biggest priority for the town to address? Well, big picture planning, I would say, would be the housing crisis, which is very real. It's been very real for a very long time, and it's coming to a head, I think. And I believe that the answer to it...
And we're going to get to that. So
Okay.
that's partly yours. But yes, you just touch on that, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
So you would say the housing.
The housing,
Okay. All right.
for sure.
All right. So the second question he asked: should there be a moratorium on summer events?
You're gonna have to define the word moratorium for me.
Stopping, putting an end
Okay.
to.
No.
Putting an end to, leaving them the way they are, but not increasing.
Okay.
Not adding to.
It's hard to say black and white, yes or no on that one. I do think we need to focus on trying to spread these events throughout the year to create some sort of balance between the winter and summer months. Because right now it's all summer and we're overwhelmed. And part of the problems that we're dealing with is that we don't have, or part of the problems with the local community is that we don't have stability throughout the year. And so I think spreading those out would help to alleviate that. That being said, if there was some great event that could be good for the community, that would bring money into the town, it'd be hard to say no blanket, don't add any more festivals. So yeah, our focus should be trying to get more festivals in the winter, to spread out the season, but to say absolutely no more events in the summer would be putting ourselves in a box that I don't think is right.
All right. Rick's question: if you are elected, will you commit to seeing that the town lives up to its stated intention to secure alternative access to Baxter Road?
Well, yeah, I think we have to, by law, secure access to Baxter Road, is my understanding.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think we have a choice. And I guess, are we asking about the Scotts Bluff issue?
Yeah, I would say, well, I would say that, should it come down to the fact that, we may need a road, are you willing to?
Well, I guess the argument right now is the Baxter SPPF is offering to pay for all of it if we'll allow them to fix the bluff. The problem with saying no to that is that the town would then have to take property by eminent domain, which is going to cost us money if we don't allow them to do it, if we don't allow them to do any work on the bluff. So yes, I do. We have to provide them access, but I don't support rebuilding the bluff.
Do you believe that the town should give perpetual permission to private interests to construct erosion control projects on public land without the permission of the citizen owners?
Can you say that one more time?
Sure. Do you believe that the town should give perpetual permission to private interests to construct erosion control projects on public land without the permission of the citizen owners? I'm assuming that he's speaking of this as a Sconset Bluff example.
So should we give
Should we allow?
unlimited, perpetual access for private corporations to fix?
Yeah.
No.
Just like, okay.
No.
Yeah, well, you're kind of like, yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm 100% anything that is. I'm not for rebuilding the bluff. I think nature should take its course, and that's that. And I think, I'm not going to go any further. I don't want to.
Well, you can. I mean,
No, I know.
it would be a good time to do it. I mean,
Well, I think it's
a controversy.
It's our hubris. It's this thought that we can outsmart nature, that we can beat it. And in the past, all it's shown us is that it comes back and bites us in the ass. It comes back worse. And so doing that kind of stuff just as an ideal I'm against it. Leave nature alone.
Okay, here's your question.
Yes.
Almost 10 years ago, voters on Nantucket approved the purchase of land opposite the new police station with the intention of being it used for affordable housing giving authority to the Board of Selectmen to handle. We've built an $18 million police station, but nothing has been done to build affordable housing. What priority will housing play for you in relation to other possible capital projects? That's the first part.
Yeah, no, well, I guess we already touched on it because that was my top issue. But
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a priority. That's my top priority, and I think, like the new police station, I'm not going to say it's a disgrace. I'm not going to say it's disgusting like a lot of people do. It's a beautiful police station. It's wonderful. But with all of these other things going on, like housing, I think our priorities should be placed there. And so my question is, where are our priorities? What are we worried about? Is it our image, or is it about the people of Nantucket? Because if it's the people of Nantucket, then housing is what we need to be spending money on. Because without the community, all of these other municipal facilities for me are pointless.
How do you feel about apartments, building apartments?
Yeah.
So
I think
what about on that same piece of property on where they want to build the market? If isn't there a proposal to change zoning a little bit so he could possibly build some apartments there?
On Old South Road?
Yeah.
There might be. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I think that would be the alternative, because if you can't build a big commercial structure, then developing condos or apartments would be the only thing they could do.
Do you support the BOS's recent request to relieve themselves of responsibility for that land?
No.
Okay.
I don't. They were given that responsibility by the people of the town nearly 10 years ago. And now I'm not sure why they want to give it back, either because I honestly don't know what their reasoning for it is. But what they can do with it is they can gift it, or they can hand it over to the Housing Authority, the Habitat. They did give one lot to Habitat for Humanity, so they didn't exactly do nothing with it. But like I said, they built an $18 million police station, but we got these lots sitting across the street that the town approved with the intent of building affordable housing, and no one's done anything about it. And it bothers me.
Okay. Your second question, do you believe there are long-term benefits to the community and our economy by being energy independent?
Yes. I think you're talking about the long-term vision of Nantucket, then yeah, any sort of independence we can have is going to be beneficial to us. Energy independence, and I think by taking back control of basic human necessities like energy, food, housing, then we can create a stable community. So yes, renewable energy is a big part of it. And it's not just, but we have the potential to make profit off of it. We can have the potential to, and it's not a short-term goal, it's a long-term goal.
Okay, you're into the second part of the question.
Okay.
That's good, though. And it's what role should renewable energy play in the long-term vision and planning of our island?
We should be focusing on creating a sustainable infrastructure, one that's resilient, so that when energy prices continue to go up, gas isn't getting any cheaper, energy's not getting any cheaper, the traditional methods. So at some point, it just becomes more economical and more economically viable every single day to start instituting renewable energy. And the sooner that we do it, the better. There's tons of state and federal grants right now, and if we don't take the opportunity now, we don't know where they're going to be. When eventually, I believe that renewable energy will be the standard, and when that happens, prices for that will go up, and the grants won't be there.
Course.
So if we take advantage of it now, we could place ourselves in a really good position for the future. And when the energy crisis does happen, Nantucket has got our own energy. We don't have to worry about that. And long term, there's potential for free energy. We could be here. People wouldn't have to pay for energy. It would be free for the community. It would be free for the town. And so if we're talking about economic viability for locals and standard of living, that's a big one.
Okay. If elected, would you build a new fire station at 4 Fairgrounds Road? That's Cliff Williams, by the way.
I don't know. I've talked to people at the fire department. It seems like it's something that they need. But I don't, like we said, is it a priority? Are we going to spend money on that, or are we going to spend money on housing? And if there's only enough money to do one, I say housing. So yes, I do support the building of a new fire station. Is it going to be my first priority? No.
All right.
It's actually the next one.
Oh, is it the next
Yeah.
one? Sorry about that.
Unless you can cut
I
through
got-
the yard.
No.
I don't think you can fit there in this thing.
Yeah, that's right. He has a second part to his question. If elected, would you shift the debt from the sewer enterprise fund from the sewer user to the tax levy as proposed in the citizens article at this year's town meeting?
Sorry, say that one more time.
If elected, would you shift the debt from the sewer enterprise fund from the sewer user to the tax levy as proposed in the citizens article at this year's town meeting? So you don't understand that question?
No. Explain it to me.
What's happening is
I understand what's going on with the sewers.
what now it's the people who don't have sewer. They're trying to put basically what they're saying is it's going to cost you more money because you don't have sewer. Therefore, you have to pay more. What Clifford's asking is if should we? I think this is what he's asking. Should we just make all the taxpayers share in the burden?
Yes.
Instead of making just the people that don't have sewer pay.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, one, town sewer is much more environmentally friendly, and I think that we need to. We have plans to extend the sewer systems out to Mattakit, and now
But
that
it's expensive, and it's
expensive, but less expensive now that we can retrofit the Surfside operation instead of building a whole new plant in Mattakit. It's about half the cost, is what I've heard. So I think once we can do that, then yes. But should the people who have, so I guess the question is the people who have septic systems now, should they share the cost of?
Should they pay the burden of it? I think he's saying they're expected to pay the burden now. Should we change that and make it?
Oh, so the sewer enterprise fund. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Make it so everybody pays.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't. I'd have to think about it more because on the one hand, yes, I don't think the people who are already paying for septic systems should have to pay for town sewer, but I do believe that the sewer. I mean, if because part of that money is building the new plant in Mattakit, so to alleviate those current septic systems, and so if that money is going to town-wide improvements that will be environmentally friendly and better for the town, then yes, we should all share in the burden of it. But so yeah, it's a tough one.
All right. So what else? Anything you want to say out there to folks? This gives you a chance to talk directly to them and
to you guys.
For your vote.
Yeah, if you like what I have to say, vote for me. VoteAdamReed.com is my website if you want to hear some more eloquently stated positions. I am for this community. I am of this community, and I believe that this community can do a lot better. We've done a lot better in the past, and I think we can get back to that point by taking back control of our basic resources: housing, food, energy, renewable energy, anything green for the environment. That's me.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming for this ride.
Thank you for having me.
And wish you all the best, Adam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You
I'll
bet.
see you soon.
Say hi to your granddad.
I will.